We've got a few problems to take care of on the Pontiac Ventura before we can go out on the road. I'm waiting on the tags to show up. So before then, I thought let's go ahead and take care of some of these things that are going to need to be done before driving it. One of them is no turn signal stem. So hopefully we actually do have working turn signals once we hook up a stem. Of course, I don't have another stem to put in here, so let's go ahead and open it up and see if we can make something. So the first thing we need to do is take a Phillips screwdriver, and there's going to be 2 screws on the back side on either side here, so we're going to go ahead and undo those. And we'll try it this way. Something tells me that's not the right type of screw either. It looks like just a regular interior screw. I don't think that's what's supposed to be in there. Yeah, I'm pretty certain those aren't the right screws. One's longer than the other. I just don't think those are right. It seems to me like they should probably be like a panhead screw. Okay, with the screws removed, pull this. I had a feeling that the horn wasn't probably hooked up at all. Well, maybe it was. Maybe it was sitting in there. But it seems like, yeah, that clip should be holding it. That's what it should be. Is this the spot here? I think that's where the horn is supposed to go into. I don't think that's set up right. Alright, as we get the steering wheel off, we'll figure that out. Let's hope they didn't screw anything up there. Also, I think I'm going to try and set this so that the tires are facing forward, and we'll also put this wheel back on so it's as straight as we can get it. Helps when you lock the steering, so getting this off. Kind of odd, this nut's starting to tighten up. I think someone has threaded a different nut on here. Something looks a little screwy on this. Someone possibly at one point might have had a custom wheel on here or something. I feel like we're getting over that now. Yeah, should be getting better here. Well, usually steering column wheels are kind of small, but this has got a lot of scarring on it. Just setting up our steering wheel puller. Say, it usually doesn't take much. That didn't take much at all, which I am completely fine with. Okay. Now, I'm going to pull this off, which is going to push that down so we can get to the little clip that's down in here. Because see, this has got to be pushed in. By the way, this up here, that's the lock. So when you turn your ignition, that's what unlocks the steering. So that pin there is what does that. Helps if you thread it on. And then you start to tighten this down. Why don't I bring it a little closer so you can see? That's what the clip looks like. So we've simply just put this holder on. Takes one of these types of tools. I don't know if you can see that, but that's threaded. This is the stamped as the metric one. So we use the standard, which the threads are a little screwy on here, so it only went part way on there. But we need to get this clip out of here. I think that is the split right there. So we just gotta get under it, start to pry it up and out of that groove. There we go. Alright. Do our rest of our clip off of here. There's what that looks like. Now we can pull our cover. This is for the horn, if I recall. I think that's where the button's got to go. Yeah, because I think that is a spring-loaded part. So this is for the horn. But I think that was supposed to be turned to match up with where the horn button is. Alright, we're just going to get that out of the way. So here's our turn signal assembly. Let's get you a little closer look. So here's our turn signal assembly. Now I can see why there's no stem on it. This one here is broken. So this actually needs to be replaced. But let's see if it'll work. Actually, the rest of it's okay. But that is broken. So let's see if we can come up with a solution for that, for at least now, so we'll be able to drive the car and have some fun. There's supposed to be 3 screws holding that in here. They're missing. Well, gee, thanks, guys. You left me with those screws. Luckily, I have an old column laying over there, which unfortunately this stuff's... Wait a minute. I might actually have the rest of this. It's a little newer column, but it might be about the same thing. We'll have to see. Alright, so I have another steering column. This is later generation. This is about 75 to 79. Actually, it might not be quite that late. I know it's at least 75 because I used this for parts for fixing my wife's 75 Nova. And it looks like the turn signal assembly is the same, but this one was also missing the screws, so I have no idea what I did with them. But this one has a crack in it, but I don't think it's as bad as the other one, so I think this one might be usable since I already have it. Now the other thing you can see down in here, in order to do this, this bracket's got to come off so I can slide this up through, and even then I still think you got to pull the rest of the column apart to do this. I think you have to at least pull this upper assembly off, and then you can get the wires through. But what I may end up doing is just cutting the wires and just doing a splice job, because this is just really going to be temporary, because I really should buy a whole brand new unit, which you can buy these units new, and this isn't the best since it's broken there. I got some super glue. I might try to super glue that together. And really, that's just more of a support there, but I can make that better. Now that I pulled it a little bit farther out, there's not going to be enough room to do a wire splice like I was thinking. This assembly should work. It's just that that piece is broken off. But if you look closely, it's threaded down in here. So if I find the right size screw, this is really just becoming a support area. So I have super glue, so I think I'm going to go ahead and super glue this in here. I'll get the super glue going here, or the super glue knockoff. So while I'm letting that glue dry, I found something else in my parts pile, and that's this little horn button that rides on that shaft, and I think that's what's missing on the other one. I think this whole piece is broken off. Yeah, you can tell if that's broken. But they pretty much look like the same thing, don't they? And I found a couple screws that fit my other column, so they should fit on this one. But let's go ahead and just do a quick test and see if our turn signals will indeed work. Look at that. We have working turn signals. There was nothing wrong with the switch at all, other than someone broke it and didn't have any screws holding it in. Yeah, I might have a bulb out or something because that's not blinking real well, but They work. I'll take it. Let's see if by chance our horn would actually work here. So I want to push this down. Gotta get this to contact. And I'm just gonna hold it to the shaft so to ground it. There we go. It'll work. Yep. Might have to just clean this up a little bit, but there you go. That's gonna make the horn work now. Okay, I think we're gonna have to make this a turn signal stem. All I need to do is just flatten the very end of this and then drill a hole in it. And then we should be able to slide it in there. So all we need is a good old hammer and the anvil part of my vise, and we'll get on this thing. I'm sure this is how GM made them. All right, hit that with the grinder, get that curve fit off of there. And we can probably make it fit. I think that'll do pretty good. Just gotta mark where that hole's gotta be, get that drilled. It's got some movement to it, but hopefully that super glue sets. That will work. Boy, that's gonna look really screwy, but sometimes you do what you gotta do to make things work. Okay, so now that I have that done, and this is dried for 24 hours, yeah, it's still pretty weak. So pull this back out, and what I wound up doing is I separated the upper half of the canceling cam, and the one that came out of here, even after trying to glue it, it's just not going to hold. And part of that reason that I couldn't tighten it up is this barrel back in here is cracked. And now this is what fits in here. This is hex shaped so that it doesn't turn. Well, you can see that's not going to work. So what I wound up doing is by pulling that out, I went to my parts column, which also was broken, but this one I repaired using fiberglass resin and screen. And this one here, the barrel's in good shape, so we won't have to worry about any of this slipping. But I went ahead and repaired this, and then I used my Dremel tool and just cleaned it up just a little bit. So I'm ready to put this in, and hopefully this is going to work. I know what you're saying. I should probably have just gone and bought a new one. But again, I want to get this car out running and out in the street. And there's going to be someone out there that maybe, you know, they want to fix something like this as opposed to just buying a replacement part. So this is one way that you can do that. Okay, we're going to push this back in and then push this down. And then a clip on the inside right there. All right, and then this barrel nut goes right from the back and push it up in. The real test. I'm gonna put the arm on. Now, one of the things I did do is this just a steel rod. Actually, this was part of a hanging hook for on a pegboard. I just ran it through my buffing wheel, and that cleaned it up pretty nice. Now this threads down into that barrel nut. Now we can put it all back together, and hopefully the horn's going to work. I did clean this back plate off, so hopefully we should be good to go on that. There we are. Need this tool so that we can put that snap ring back in there. All right, so now we got the plate back on. I got the snap ring back in place, and I've also spliced the wire from my spare parts and to the horn, so this will be ready to go in then. But before we do that, we've got to put the steering wheel back on. Driving straight, it was like this, so we're going to see if we can get this to sit a little bit straighter this time. There we go. All right, now with that in, now we can put our horn button in. There we go. That's just push and give a quarter turn. Work. Let's see if I hold it in place. There we go. We got one working. This side not working. All right. Got this all back on here. That one there. And after a little bit of sandpaper, both sides are working. Turning signal mechanism on and off. I just don't have the ignition turned on, so I'm pretty happy with that. On to the next thing. Armrest and window winders. Woohoo! Finding money. So here's the old unit, and here's the unit that I'm going to replace with. These were extra pieces that came with my brother's 69 Nova. I just cleaned it up, and I had to attach the armrest. There were no screws, so I stole the screws out of the panel that I pulled off and put that in. So those are the two screws that hold the top of the armrest on. So we'll go ahead and get these installed. There we are. A lot better than the last one, no tape on it. And I think that chrome strip looks pretty good considering the way the trim is on this door. All right, let's go ahead and get that replaced. All right, I got a replacement here. This is another spare part from my brother's 69 Nova. It's not the best, but I just hit it with a little bit of rubbing compound, so it looks a lot better. If you've never removed one of these before, it's pretty simple. You have one of these tools. You want to slip this in between the handle and the little plastic washer that they have on there, and just push, pull it back out, and then you can remove. And the clip fell out of there. Let me show you that horseshoe clip. Well, I totally lost that other clip, but here's what they look like. And there's a groove. I don't know how well you can see it. There's a small groove. It's there. It simply slides into the groove. They always go in this direction, so that way you know when you're using that tool, you always come in from the handle side. But it simply just slides in here. There we go. Okay. Put our plastic washer back on. And I'm going to match it with the other side. That is as far as the way it's facing. You just push it in. That's it. Clicks. Done. So there we go. So that's going to do for this episode on the Pontiac. Still got plenty of work to do. Next time we'll be trying to straighten out this dent at the rear tail section. And we'll also start working on trying to get this engine running better by swapping out the carburetor. So if you want to see that and more on this Pontiac, make sure you tune in. If you haven't already, please subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know as soon as a new video is up, and thanks again for watching.